Okay, these are different tasks. Pause the video, give it a go yourself first. You might want to do this task by task with me. So I'm going to do task A, which is this one here. Create a game where players hide boxes in a virtual world and others search for them. So it's like hide and seek. Program has a class name called Hidden Box. Simple. Use object-oriented programming techniques to program a game. We've got these different properties or attributes. Box name, creator. Okay, cool. But it doesn't want us to actually do that yet. It just wants us to do it as comments. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my self dot underscore. I'm going to do double underscore box name, and that's going to be a string. Self dot underscore creator string. Self dot underscore date hidden string. Self dot underscore game location string. Self dot underscore what's the next one? Last finds. And last finds is a 2D array. The 2D array is it just any dimensions? Yeah. 10 players. So the player name of the last 10 players and a comment from each player. So that needs to be for 10 players. And it's storing two things. One of those things is a comment. I'm just going to look in it here. A comment and the player name. Self dot underscore active, and that's going to be brilliant. And that's what I'll do for task A. Now what it wants us to do, if you have a look at, well, pause the video, give task B a go yourself first. Otherwise, feel free to just watch what I'm going to do, but you should be able to do it yourself. Write a constructor, so I'm going to do it in here, my constructor. Def underscore in it. Oh my god, my toilet's doing its weird thing again. Underscore self. Really? Box name. You can call this whatever you want. I can call this box name for. Oh, okay. Creator. Date hidden. And finally, new location. Cool. So those would be my parameters. Those are the variables we're passing in. And all I'm going to do now is just uncomment these. Go away, go away. I can't see what I'm doing now. Thank you. I'm going to indent it so it's inside a constructor. And I'm now going to assign box name to there. Created to here. Obviously replace a colon with an equal sign because we're assigning. Date hidden needs to be date hidden. I'm going to put new location. Now the 2D array needs to be set up properly. So that's going to be equal. And I'm going to do my 2D array here. We want it to be empty for j in range 0 to 2. And then outside of here, put I in range 0 to 10. So we're going to be setting up our 10 by 2 grid. And self.active equals false. So this is ready to rock and roll. If I also run the code, I don't know what this is, it's annoying me. No errors so far. Obviously I'm not calling anything, but still. So that is task B done, because it tells us that we want it to be inactive and initialize all array elements as empty, which is what we're doing. This is essential. Okay. What's the next thing that we've got to do? So let's do task C. Excuse me a minute whilst I'm itching my leg. Been bitten by something. Okay, write the get a method for get box name and get game location. So we're using private attributes, so we do need to use get. Again, really easy. Def get box name. Self. And all we're going to do is return self dot underscore and it's box name, because that's all what a get is going to do. A getter just does that. Def get location self, return self, and we're going to do game location. Bingo, was his name out? Done. But as task C finished, it's now saying in the main program, so we're done. So what I'm going to do, this is what I would do if I was doing my exam. I'll just like separate it to make it easier for me. In the main code, this has got nothing to do with the actual object itself. What we want to do is declare one D array named the boxes of the type hidden box. So the boxes equals, and I'm going to do an array like that. But inside this array, it needs to be of type hidden box. So that is what I'm going to do here. And inside of here, we need to basically pass in box name, creator, date hidden, and new location as being empty for now. We don't know what's going to go in there, so I'm just making it empty. And we want to do this for I in range 0 to 10,000 times. That's what that's going to do. Oops, I missed out the I. So this is going to make an array. The array is going to have 10,000 of this included. So that is task E done, or I done. We now need to create a procedure. Write a procedure called new box. So let's do that. I'm going to do that above the array. Def new box. And it takes the name, creator. Oh, my bad. Naughty, naughty, naughty. It says it takes the name, creator, date hidden, and game location as an input. So that means we're going to have to do it inside of this procedure. So box name equals input, enter the name of the box. Creator equals input, enter the creator's name. Date hidden equals enter input, enter, come on, I can't type, enter the date the box was hidden. This is a weird game. Game location, input, enter the location of the box. We also need to pass in the array into here. So we definitely need that to be passed in. But we also need to have something which is storing and keeping track of how many boxes or what box number we're currently on, because we're not going to be appending to the array, we're going to be assigning into a position. So I need to make a variable called num boxes, and we'll start it on 0. So I need to pass that in as well. So far, we've done this. But now what we're going to do is create an instance of hidden box and append it to the end of the boxes. Now I can see why a lot of people went for the append option. And it is making me doubt the Mart Scheme version of this. Ooh. The issue is it tells us earlier to do 10,000. So we're going to have to put it into here. We can't make it 10,001, 10,002. So we are going to have to use this numBox method or routine. So the next thing we want to do is call new box. So hold on, let's do that. I'm going to do this bit now, and then I go back to DII. So new box, I'm going to pass into it the boxes, but also num boxes. Now we're going to make this again, this is another problem. Again, I'll probably correct your marks. Write a procedure. This isn't a procedure now, we have to turn it into a function. Okay, so return the boxes, and we're going to return num boxes. What we want to do inside of here is do the boxes, position num boxes, which will be 0 to begin with. So in our array, position 0, we want hidden box, box name, creator, date hidden, and game location. So what does that mean? What's that going to look like? Well, first of all, I need this to be lowercase, so bad person. We're going to create a 2D array. So the boxes, it's going to look like this. It's going to have 10,000 spaces. And in space number 1, it's going to have an opportunity to have the box name, creator, date hidden. Let me just shift this to the side, and game location. We'll also get its properties, sorry, its methods as well. And we're going to have 10,000 of these. So each one would actually have data in it. So let's imagine we had box name, I don't even know, name of the box, TNT, I don't even know what this is about, creator 11, date hidden 25th January 24, game location top left. What the heck? So that's what will be stored instead of this, based on the information which is inputted here. And we would have 10,000 of these, but the rest of them would be all empty spaces until we use it. So that means we've done this task and this task. The final thing it wants us to do is go back to our OOP and create a new type of box named a puzzle box inheriting from hidden box. So we're going to create a child class. Simple as that. So we're going to be using simple inheritance. Class puzzle box of hidden box. From there, we're going to be doing, you can do your declarations, so you've got puzzle text, etc. But I'm just going to go straight into the attributes and the constructor. So you have def underscore underscore ooh in it. Sorry, my cable's in my way. Okay. So we have self. We're going to have box name, creator, date hidden, new location. Also two new attributes, which is going to be, I can't remember, puzzle text and solution. We're then going to initiate or instantiate our super. And that's going to have to be the original properties. Box name, creator, date hidden, new location. Okay. I'm now going to create the attributes. You know what? I should have this in camel casing, so it should be capital. And there we go. That is our child class. We're inheriting from there. And that is it. The task. Ooh, I forgot something. I'm sorry. Box numbers need to go up by 1. So num boxes equals num boxes plus 1. And then we need to also here have the boxes and num boxes. So returning from here to here. So no longer do we have a procedure, we've got a function. But we need a function because we can't use global variables. We can't use global variables because the example doesn't want you to use global variables. I know, crazy, right? Okay. So there we go. In a second, pause the video and give us a go. I'm just going to scroll through the task for you and you can pause it at certain points. Okay, pause the video, give it a go yourself first. I'm going to do a solution. I'm going to do it task by task. Excuse me. Okay, so in this situation, we have a treasure chest. We've got our attributes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to combine task A and task B together, I think. No, I'm just going to do task A. So let's do our class treasure chest. In it, we're going to have our constructor. In it. In it. Self, question, answer, points. Self dot underscore question equals question. Self dot underscore answer equals answer. And self dot underscore points equal points. Nice and easy so far. Does it talk about methods? Nope, just the constructor. So question B. Write a procedure. So this is going to be in the main code. How do I know it's in the main code? It's not saying to make a method, it's a procedure. So I'm going to call it def read data, because that's what it's telling us to do. It wants us to open up a text file, and it's going to be called treasure chest data.txt. But it also wants us to ensure that we are using try and except, because it says exception handling. So try file equals open file name. And now what we're going to do is go run some code which is going to do the following. So I've done this. Well, I haven't actually finished this. Let's do the except part. Excuse me. I eaten some spicy food and oh my gosh. Whew. I'm struggling. Okay. Okay, so we've got our try, we've got the accept, could not find file. Now what we want to do is read each question and some points from the text file. I'm going to make a text file really quickly. So the text file, add a file. Let's call it treasure chest data.txt. And how is this done? So you've got a question, answer, and point on different lines. Easy. Did not mean to do that. Go away. So question, what is the capital of England? London, 1 point. So So I'm going to do F. There's different ways we can read from a file. We can do it as read lines. I'm going to do F instead of file. Okay, so let's do it as read lines. So F dot, actually lines equals F dot read lines. Put I in lines. And the way we know, well, the way this is going to work is pretty simply for I in lines. Actually, thinking about it, I'm not going to do it for I in lines, I'm going to do it for I in range. We're going to go from 0 to a length of lines. And we're going to count every 3 lines. So I'm going to do comma 3. So that's going to be a step. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do question equals lines I dot strip. We're then going to do answer equals lines I plus 1 dot strip, and points equals lines plus I plus 2 dot strip. So what this is going to do is it's going to go to a text file. It's going to take, or it's going to loop, should I say, every 3 lines. So on the 4th line, if I have what is the capital of Germany, that's it, say capital, can't be able to change it. This is going to take just this question. But we're then going to extract the answer and the points from here, from the text file. And then the next time we loop, it's going to go onto line 4 and just get that. It's then going to have Berlin and 2 points. But we're going to get that through the I plus 1 and I plus 2 again. And what we're going to then do is simply add it to our array, which I haven't made yet. So the array, I'm going to call array treasure, because it tells us to do array treasure. And it's going to be of type treasure chest. So that's going to be easy. So dot append and treasure chest, question, answer, points. I also need to actually declare this. So array treasure. And we'll treat it globally for now. So this is different from the last question, because for the last question we did on the first task, it said 10,000, and where we had 10,000 already there. In this, it doesn't say anything about us having anything inside the array. Therefore, we can make it empty and just append to it. So we've done all of this, but I will, outside the loop, f.close. What we're going to do now is do our methods. So it says write the method for get question. Very easy. I'm going to do def get question self, and we simply get a return. And it's going to be self dot underscore underscore question. And there you go, that is get question. Write the method check answer. Okay, so we're going to write the method check answer. Excuse me. In the treasure chest class, it takes the users. Wait, was that a method which we did in the previous question, or was it? Yeah, it was. It takes the user's answer as a parameter and returns true if it's correct or false if wrong. Okay. Def check answer. We want to have self, and we want to take in the user's answer. So I'm going to call it user answer. Alright. If and it's going to be self._answer matches the user answer, return true. Otherwise, return false. We don't need an else. But hey ho. So, how's this going to work? Well, we haven't yet allowed the user to enter their answer, but this is going to come soon. So we've done this bit. Write the method getPoints. And what that's going to do is it's going to have some points calculation based on number of attempts. Easy. So, def getPoints self number of attempts. If attempts equals 1, what did it tell us to do? Return full points. So return, and we're going to do self._points. And I'm going to do it as an int. Because remember, it's in a text file at the moment. When we get it from the text file, it's going to be in string format. So I'm going to do int. If attempts equals 2, return, and what does it want us to return if it's 2? Return point div2. Alright, so return int self._points. You can't use div because that's pseudocode, but we can use /, which is div. If it's 3 or 4 attempts, return points div4. More than 4, 0. So what I'm going to do, otherwise, return 0. Done. Now we're going to go into the main program. We want to call read data. So let's do that. Okay, so we're calling read data. Done. Ask the user to enter a question number between 1 and 5. Well, we've only got 2 question numbers. So I'm going to say Q number equals int inputs enter choice between 1 and 2. That's stupid. Either 1 or 2. Let's add some validation. If Q number is less than 1 or Q number is greater than 2, print wrong question number. Else, let's carry on. So it says output the corresponding information. Output the corresponding question. Well, we need to actually ensure that we are accessing our array properly. So the way we're going to do this is we want to display the question, so I'm going to do question equals array treasure, and then we're going to have Q number -1, I'll talk about that in a second, dot, and we've got get question. Okay, and we're going to print the question. So if they type in CIE OOP, what's going on here? If they choose question 1 would be in position 0 in our array, so we also need to do -1. Get a question, we'll fetch the question. Now we're going to print it. Now let's get them to type in their answer. Answer equals input, enter, answer. Now what we want to do is check their answer. So results, because check answer will return either true or false. So we want to make a variable called result equals, and we're going to call it array. And treasure choice -1. Check the answer, and we want to pass in the answer they gave us. So what's going to happen? It's not choice, sorry, it's question. So, okay, so we type in an answer here. We pass in that answer all the way up here to check answer. We check to see if it matches the answer what it should be, which was made when we made our object, which was here. If it matches, it's going to be true result. If it doesn't match, it's going to be false. I'm going to make a variable called attempts. And we want attempts to increment by 1. We also want to print how many points. So print array treasure, and again Q number -1 dot get points, and we're going to pass in the amount of attempts we've had. So it's going to run this. It's going to go up to here. It's going to pass in the attempts and calculate it. Whilst we are returning, we're going to just print the result. Get points. Interesting. Why is that coming out wrong? Replit sometimes is really slow. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, refresh. There you go. Fixed. Weird. Now, we're going to add a couple more things to this. I'm not going to test this. I'm going to give it that question. Okay. It wants us to repeat the question until we get a correct answer. So, again, I want to repeat basically this info. Do I need to repeat the question? No. But I'm going to repeat. Actually, you probably will do. So, I'm going to do while result equals false. We're going to repeat all of this to keep playing the game. I'm going to leave the display of the points at the end outside the loop because it's going to be like the final results. Finally, I need to do is a results equals, and we want it to run, so we want result to equal false to begin with. And there we go. And it's doing its stupid thing again with get points. Right. So we have our treasure chest. We have our reading into a file. When we read from a file, read into a file, read from a file. The way I'm doing it is I'm going every 3 lines. It's going to start again, but it's going to skip. So the 4th line, it'll do the 1st line, the 4th line, the 7th line, etc. And within that, we're going to get the information we need. I'm then going to append it to array treasure chest. We then have the main code here, where we're calling the procedure. We are then going to enter in numbers for the question choice. We add a bit of validation. And then we access the information we need. Look how we access the information. We put the array name. We put the question number, well, the index position, dot, and call the method. We also going to have to pass in answer because that's what it's expensing here. And we also have to pass in attempts to get this information. Pause the video, give this question a go, or these questions a go first yourself. Okay, what's meant by inheritance? Well, this is easy. It's basically where a child class can use properties or methods from a parent class. So that would actually get you 2 marks in itself. I'm now going to add to this. What we have is class vehicle, what we have is class car. Class car is inheriting aspects from vehicle. We can see that we're going to be using color and max speed and number of seats, and number of seats in itself is going to be our brand new property for car. Now you can see also that we have a situation where we have start here and start here. So not only are we able to use this method called start, we've actually been able to modify it as well. As we know, that is called polymorphism. So by having inheritance, not only can we use properties and methods from a parent class, but we can also extend that, change, build on the methods and properties from a parent class. Have we done that in the example below? Well, we've used polymorphism to change the method start, but we've also added this brand new method called play radio. So we've extended basically class vehicle. We've made it bigger, better. Obviously, we can still use this method as well of stop, but we're not making any changes to it, so we can just not include it in class car. The second question, identify 2 other features of OOP. Well, I've just mentioned that, polymorphism. You've got encapsulation, where we make things private. Well, we make properties private. You can make methods private as well, but I'm not going to go with that for A level. And also you've got containment / aggregation. Same thing. Okay, so I'm going to put a link to this question in the description section of this video, but I'd like to see if you can give this a go yourself first. I'm then going to give solutions for this. Pause the video, give question A a go first. So we need to set up a class called lesson with this constructor. Simple, easy, happy days. Let's do it. Class and it's called lesson. Def underscore init, self, lesson type, and lesson instructor. Is that the only thing I need? Okay, so let's make it private. Bingo was his name-o. Okay. Done. B. Write program code for get lesson type. Really easy. So get lesson type returns the lesson type value. Okay. Def get lesson type self return self underscore lesson type. Done. C. Fee is the cost a customer will pay for a lesson. The method getFee will validate a parameter value. The method is sent a parameter value that represents the skill level of a customer. So it could be beginning, intermediate, or advanced. So the parameter will be a char, B, I, or A. The method must check the parameter value is a valid character, B, I, or A, and return the correct fee. Otherwise, -1. These are the fees. Okay. Nice and simple. What we need to do then is create a method called def get fee self, but also we want to take in the level the user types in. If the level the user types in equals B, 45, 50, 55. So return 45. Elif level equals I. Return 50. Elif level equals A. Return 55. Otherwise, return -1. Nice and simple. Yes, you don't need to do the else. I get that. Great. So we've done our validation. This is pseudocode. No, no, no. We are going to do this as program code. Create an array called lesson array to store 9 lesson objects. Okay. Okay, so let's make our array. Lessons equals lesson. And then we're going to have, you can do empty string, but I'm going to do none. None. Empty string for I in range 9. So we've built our array, 9 spaces, happy days. The test club has the lesson, improve your serve, that has David as the instructor. So David, who's an instructor, teaches improve your serve. And we want to put it into position 2, I think. Where is it? Yeah, third element of the array, so position 2. So how do we do that? So lessons, position 2 equals lesson, improve your serve, good. No. I appreciate that the questions doesn't tell us about displaying any of the information, but let's actually now display what we've got. Let's display our array. Pause the video, see if you can actually successfully display all the data in our array called lessons. Okay, so what we should have is for I in range and length of lessons, and we're going to print lessons I dot, and let's do get lesson type and print lessons, but actually it doesn't have fee, we just got instructor. We haven't actually done anything with the fee itself, have we? BIA get fee. That's really weird that they've given you that as a feature, but we're not using it anywhere. Oh well, so we've got lesson type, and let's get the instructor as well. So print lessons I dot get lesson instructor, but we haven't got a get method for that yet, so let's just quickly make it. Def get lesson instructor self return self dot underscore lesson instructor. Okay, I spelled it wrong down here. Let's run the code. Yeah, it's not displayed very well, is it? But improve your serve, David. Let's see if we can actually tidy this up. So let's just do a print lesson, and then I'm going to do I+1, so it'll be like lesson 1, and then it's going to make an empty print just like that. So if I run it now, lesson 1's empty, lesson 2's empty, lesson 3 improve your serve, and it's David, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Happy days. Pause the video, give this a go yourself first. Okay, so the best way for me to explain this is through an example. What we have here is a class called engine. This is for a car. This engine can live by itself. It's independent It's got no direct relationship with class car in class engine. We then have class car. We've got our attributes for make and model, but we've also got an attribute for engine. This is where we're going to have a relationship with class engine. We're going to have a relationship through an instance of it via an object. What do I mean by that? Well, what we have here is our engine, which is being created. So we're going to have 150 being set here. We don't actually need this horsepower bit, so you can just have 150. So we're going to create an engine object, which is going to go at 150. So engine is an object of the class engine. We're then going to create a car. This car is going to have the attributes Toyota, which is the make, the model, Corolla, and we're then going to also give engine. Engine, remember, is this. And that is our aggregation. We're creating an instance and we're also including engine within that. Using the cars method, we can now call the engine method engine started. So if you look inside here, it's going to say starting, Toyota, Corolla. Then it's going to jump over here and say engine started. So that is going to be our relationship. So containment is a class. In this situation, it's car, which includes an instance. So in this case, the instance is what we just created down here, engine, of another class, which in this case is class engine. It exists, so engine exists, or shall we say the engine object. This engine object exists outside of the parent class. So it's saying that this can exist without being in car. We've created an engine. We can have an engine by itself. It's not going to be useful, but we can do that. Okay, as like before, I'll put the paper in the description below. This is for a computer game. Fun, fun, fun. Pause the video, give it a go yourself first. So try and do the constructor yourself first. We'll do it bit by bit like last time. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to have a class. That class is going to be called, I can't remember, character. Class character. Now let's do our constructor, def underscore, sorry, def underscore init, self, and we need a character name. And our attributes are going to be name passed in, skill is going to be 0, health is 50, and this is going to be a random value between 1 and 25. So let's do that. Self underscore. Come on, I can't type at the moment. This equals character name equals character name. That's what we're passing in. We've then got self underscore skill equals 0, self underscore health equals 50, and self underscore shield equals rand range, and we're going from 1 to 25. And let's import random at the top. Okay. Done. So we've made our constructor. Now what? Let's do our get skill method. all we have to do for get skill, if we just look at what it wants from us, returns the skill value. So def get skill self return self_skill. Nice and easy, but that should be inside there. Thank you. You're welcome. Now what we want to do is set skill. Okay, this is slightly more complicated. Set skill, the method passes as an integer that must be between 10 and 25 inclusive, it parameter is valid. Okay, easy. So def set skill, we're going to pass in a value from the user. If the value is less than 10 or the value is greater than 25, return -1. Otherwise, if self.__skill plus the value is greater than or equal to 200, skill is set to 200 default, return 0. So let's have a look. If the parameter is valid, the method will increase the skill by the parameter value. The maximum skill can be increased to is 200. So if it's got 180 for the skill already, we pass in 25, it'll still be 200. Our return values would be 0 if the skill is 200, 1 if the skill is updated and it's less than 200, or -1 if it's not valid. Hence why I'm returning 0 because it's 200. Else self._skill equals self._skill plus value return 1. There we go. And remember 1 is basically saying the skill's updated and it's less than 200. So again, I don't need to do this in pseudocode. This needs to be done in Python. Right, so I'm going to make an array called character array equals. We're going to be using our class character. I'm going to be sending in empty. But I'm only needing to pass in one thing, which is character name, because everything else is given to us when we build. So, what relationship does this have with this? Yes, is aggregation. What we are basically saying is the following. We have a has-a relationship. Character array has character object, but the existence of the character object is not tied to the array. This could exist without the array. We are using this within our array, which is the has-a relationship, but it could exist without it. The game has the character with the name Victory. Okay, nice. Write program code to create the character Victory as an instance of the class character. The object needs to be stored in the first element of the array. Okay, easy. Character array 0 equals character and Victory. Boom, done. And that is it. Okay, pause the video, give these 2 questions a go yourself first. So, what's the purpose of a constructor? Well, the purpose of a constructor is to allow us to create an instance of an object from a class. Without that constructor, we can't create an object. Boom, end of. Now we're talking about an actual example here of inheritance, and we need to be using these examples in our answer. So, the classes office and house inherit from building. So building is the parent class. Building is parent class. And then I'm going to do office and house are child classes. Office and house will inherit or extend, we looked at that in the previous question, attributes methods from the building, the parent class. And there you go. Okay, so what we have here is a OCR paper. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a variation so that it keeps you on your toes. You may wish to have a look at the paper, it's in the description. We've done this question already, but what we have to do now is fill in the gaps based upon what we have here. But I don't want you to do it in pseudocode. I would like for you to actually code this yourself. So give it a go in Python. Pause the video, give it a go. All right, so we need the following class. It's called building. We then want to create our constructor. So this is going to be our constructor here, basically. So def underscore in it, and we're going to have floors, width, height. And we then need, I should have done p floors, p width, p height, but I can't be bothered, so whatever. Number of floors, width, and height, and those are all going to be private, so we're going to have self dot underscore number floors equals floors, self dot underscore oh, I'm an idiot. Width equals width, and self dot underscore height equals height. Okay. It now wants us to do a get number of floors. Easy. Def get number of floors, self return self dot underscore number of floors. It then wants us to create a set number of floors, and we're taking in a parameter floors. So def set number floors, and we're going to have self, and we're going to take in floors. If floors is greater than or equal to 1, then we want self dot underscore number floors to equal floors. Return true. Else return false. Yeah, you don't need an else. You can just do return blah, 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 blah. I know. Okay, so that is this coded. Write program code to declare the class this house. Okie dokie. So class house, we need these attributes, but we don't need to do the methods. It's not asking us to do the methods, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't ask us to do any methods. So class house, and we're going to have a relationship with building. Def underscore init, and we need self floors, width, height, bedrooms, bathrooms. Super. And we're going to have floors, width, height. Now we need to declare our new attributes. Bedrooms equals bedrooms. bathrooms equals bathrooms. That's about right. Cool. Ooh. Okay, so Christoph develops a new class to store the houses in one road. This is his class design. The method new building takes a new building as a parameter and stores this in the next free space in the array of buildings. Ooh, okay. So, the class is called house road. It doesn't want us to make house road, but the method new building takes a new building as a parameter and stores this in the next free space in the array buildings. Okay, I would like for you to actually create the class for this. Okay, so let's build it. We want to have class house road. Now, class house road isn't actually going to be inheriting anything from house. It's a road. So we're not doing inheritance. What we are going to do, so let's just do def init self. What we are going to do though is we're going to create an attribute because it tells us we're having an array of 100 of class house where we're going to have 0 for floor, 0 for width, 0 for height, 0 for bedrooms, 0 for bathrooms. For I in range 100. So we're using aggregation. That's our relationship. We also need number of buildings, and that's going to be set to 0. Self.number of buildings 0. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the function new building. So let's start building. Def, so just remind myself what I've got to do again. Method new building takes a new building parameter and stores it in the next free space. Okay, so def new building self, and we want a parameter new house being passed in. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a check if self dot underscore number of buildings is less than 100, we can continue. And what we're going to do is we're going to put into the array, so self dot underscore buildings, position self dot underscore number of buildings, which will be 0 to begin with. It's like building 1 equals new house. So populating our array based upon the number of buildings. So let's imagine we create an object and we do this. Number of buildings will then want to go up by 1. So that's what we want to do now. Self dot underscore number of buildings equals self dot underscore number of buildings plus 1. So it goes up by 1. Return true. Else print no free spaces. Return false. Nice and easy. So we've got a dude called Christoph. What does Christoph want? He wants to create a new house called House 1. The properties are 2 floors, 8 meters, okay, 3 bedrooms. Cool. So let's do that first of all. So let's call it, in the main code, House 1 equals. And what we're going to do, we're going to do House 1 equals house. And we're going to put our attributes into this. So we're going to have 2, 8, 10, 3, 2. We're then wanting to create a road. The road is Lime Avenue. So Lime Avenue equals house road. So this is me creating a new road called Lime Avenue. Now what I want to do is put house 1. Did I spell house 1 with a 0? Idiot. Oh no, that is a O. How does like a 0? Anyway, we want to put house 1 into Lime Avenue. So Lime Avenue dot, and we're going to put a new building. This new building will be house 1. So I'm hoping we'll run it with no errors. Good. Now let's create a get method so we can just see the array. So pause the video, give that a go. Unless it tells us to do that as a question. Nope, so do that. So we can display all the houses in Lime Avenue to see that it's been done properly. Pause the video, give it a go. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to do def, and I'm going to have get houses info self. And all I'm going to do is loop through. So for, you can do for I or whatever, for house in self dot underscore buildings. So I'm just going to loop through the array. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extract when we've got number of floors more than 0, because we know it's not going to be an empty house. Number of floors is greater than 0. And now what I want to do is print, and let's do it. So we're going to have floors, and let's have get number of floors, sorry, house dot get number of floors, print width, house dot get, what was my get method for? I haven't got a get method for width. Do I even have a get number of floors method? What get methods do I have? Yeah, I do. So I'm just going to do get number of floors. Makes it simple. Okay. Now what we want to do is, so it's going to be Lime Avenue dot get house info. So if I run this, there we go. We've got a house with floors 2. Let's add another house. And let's say in this house, they have 11 floors. We'll call this house 2. And let's add it to Lime Avenue. Floors 11. Interesting. That suggests I've messed up something on my new buildings code. Let's have a look. Oh. Missed that off. So there we go. Floors 2, floors 11. And I can say we're nice and done with this task.